All right. It's almost 6:15. Are we ready? All right. Tell you what. Who wants to... Somebody raise their hand. Quick. Cynthia, you do the flag salute for us.
I knew it.
I do the what?
Flag salute for us.
I knew that's what.
Please stand.
I knew that was it. I was waiting to see him do first.
Ready? Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Cynthia. Okay. Recording on? All right. So we are going to start the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council monthly meeting. It is exactly 6:15, and my phone doesn't tell me how many seconds, but we're starting on time, sort of. So let's go ahead and, today's the 11th. And so let's go ahead and take roll call and start our meeting.
11th of August, 2025. Christina Rivera.
Here.
John Bavera.
Here.
Christina Calandra.
Here.
Vic Christensen here. Adrian Fernandez.
Here.
Cynthia Gagne. Gwen Henry.
Here.
Alonzo Jenkins.
Here.
April Jones.
Here.
Melanie Lebrecht.
Here.
Kelly Miller.
Here.
Kane Nicholas.
Here.
Thomas Norman.
Here.
Ray Regalado.
Here.
Angela Sumner.
Here.
Chris Valle.
Here.
And we have a rare full house, all 17.
All right. That's great.
I'm sorry, Vic, your math sucks. It's 16.
Joker's wild.
I sit corrected. 16. We have one vacant seat.
Moving on. The next agenda item is public comment on non-agenda items. So if anybody wants to get in on this, have their time, please go and fill out a card, and we're going to go ahead and start. First one up is Mr. Jay Springer.
Hi, everybody. This is the first time in the meeting. My name is Jay Springer. I'm recently retired, and I use Peck Park quite a bit. And I wanted to bring you guys' attention to this problem. This is a chunk of concrete that fell off of this building and is not the only one. This building has these mid-century modern constructed little protrusions that are breaking apart. And if you want to go check it out, you can just walk out here on the left-hand side. This is where this piece of concrete fell. And as you can tell, this is not just this is from the first story, but these protrusions go up to 2 stories high. And you have children who are here partaking in, summer camp, having food outside the entrance. You have people obviously walking around the building quite a bit. And it was pretty scary when I first saw this. Actually, it was on a Monday when the people were coming in for Monday morning bingo. So I informed the staff of the rec center here, or not the rec center, but the administration area. And there was a gentleman that took pictures, but I just kind of wanted to make you guys aware of this issue. There seems to be some mitigation that was done before. If you look at some of the protrusions, they have steel casings around them to obviously, I think, take care of this issue. But if you just take a glance at the protrusions themselves, you can see these cracks, and this problem is only going to get worse. And I would hate to have, some kid who's partaking in, an activity, walking in, just people just walking in and out of the building, having to have this fall on their head. And as you can see, this little point is pretty sharp, and if this fell from a two-story area, I think it would be very problematic. So I just wanted to make you guys aware, and I don't know what your kind of affiliation is with the city and the Parks and Rec Department and so forth, but I just wanted to make you aware of it. So.
Thank you, Mr. Spring. Item number 2, the second one we have is from Lori Jacobs.
Good evening, complete board. For those of you who attended the LAPD town hall, there was a woman who spoke that night that was pretty darn upset at CD 15 because she has businesses located near Basin and Battery off Paraiso. I don't know how you pronounce that. And said she wasn't getting a response with people sleeping on the streets, throwing trash, etc. So I wanted to let you know that the very next day, our council member, along with the president of your neighborhood council, met over there, saw what was going on, and took immediate action. The area is now cleaned up, and it has stayed cleaned up. And more importantly, our council member has put through council file number 250898. I won't read you the whole council file. I gave Melanie a copy because I'm suggesting that the safety committee put in a CIS to support this resolution. And basically, they're citing the restriction of parking of vehicles that are 6 feet or more in height in the evenings. So it basically says City Council, pursuant to California Vehicle Code, blah, 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 hereby prohibits the parking of vehicles during the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. along the following streets. And they list West Basin, West Battery, Paraiso, and all those streets. So I think it's great that we had the town hall. Somebody registered a complaint. The council member jumped in, the neighborhood council jumped in, and we now have this resolution. So I highly recommend that the safety committee take a look at that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Next one is coming from Alan Franz.
Thank you. After Mr. Springer's presentation, I'm not sure I'm going to feel safe even walking out of the building after the meeting ends. But I have some options here in the park for staying away from the building. As most of you are probably aware, on the third Thursday of the month, there's an exercise walk that starts at the back of the parking lot here. And the fourth Saturday of the month, there's a walk that starts, again, from the same location at the back of the parking lot. It's a slower nature walk. Both of these are free and open to the public, start at 9 o'clock on those respective dates. Further into the future, like November 2nd, many of you probably know this neighborhood council has provided some financial support for a habitat restoration project, installing native plants near the end of Walker Street at Elberon on the other side of the park. And we have dozens of healthy plants that have been installed there. We have a new collaboration with the Aquarium of the Pacific, and they are hoping to come on November 2nd, weather permitting, and bring a whole bunch of milkweed to plant in that area and attract monarch butterflies, among other guests of the project. And the event on November the 2nd is a volunteer event. Anybody is welcome to come. We typically have about 2 dozen volunteers come out and join us for those occasions. And the Aquarium Pacific expects to bring at least 12 volunteers on November 2nd to plant and spiffy up the site there. I won't launch into a long presentation, but being outside in nature is good for you, for your mind and body, and we would love to see you out there November 2nd, 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and any other time that you want to get out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Next person up, Rachel Rocky.
Hello. Part of my comments are going to be written from the group I'm a part of, Harbor Area Peace Patrols, then I have a little extra. So the Harbor Area Peace Patrols is a group of harbor area residents who peacefully observe, document, and share ICE activity in our neighborhoods. We are part of the San Pedro Neighbors for Peace and Justice and Community Self-Defense Coalition and work closely with Unión del Barrio. We have a letter right now in with the Northwest Neighborhood Council, working through the safety committee with Melanie to hopefully get it passed here, and we can help in any way we can. Every day we patrol San Pedro, Wilmington, Port of Los Angeles to share information that might support our community. We are teachers, parents, retirees, healthcare workers, and everyday people who really care deeply about each other and our city. We operate within our legal and constitutional rights to protect and defend our communities by sharing unlawful behavior by ICE agents, quote unquote. I want to tell you, in case you don't know, that last Friday at our patrol, we had someone who was with Unión del Barrio, but she was on Terminal Island with us. And if you should look at the Instagram video, she was attacked by ICE, quote unquote, agents, paid for by our tax dollars, and she was face planted into the cement. She was thrown into a van, no rights read, no due process, no nothing. And they didn't just take her to jail, they took her actually back into the Coast Guard facility. So we have all hands on deck is part of ICE machinery. No matter what they tell us at the Harbor Commission meeting, that whole complex is basically either working with ICE or they're just throwing their hands up like they can't do anything. She was smashed, and she is an ICU nurse. They came back, the ICE agents, to pick up her backpack, and at that time there were two Harbor Area Peace Patrollers there, and they pulled guns on them in full tactical gear, everything. And we have evidence that Port Police drove by twice and didn't do anything. They told us later they were afraid. My goodness. We're out there just community members. We're not afraid. But I'll tell you something cool, and we're inviting every one of you here to patrol with us. That was Friday. I couldn't go on Friday. She was arrested. Saturday, there was like 25 of us on patrol, and a bunch of us, mostly women, all women except for Anthony Luna, who rocks with the Chamber of Commerce, went out to Terminal Island. And we were like, who's the Rosie the Riveter, right? We were out there and we were going to stand our ground. And so I invite especially women, especially young people, especially everyone who feels maybe a little nervous. We are there together and we keep us safe. Please join us. If you look up Unión del Barrio, I'm just going to give a phone number, 213-444-6562. And Chirla, who is the immigrant rights group, 888-624-4752. And our email, we have an email now, harbor-area-peacepatrols@gmail.com. harbor-area-peacepatrols@gmail.com. The good news is she was released within 24 hours. They realized she was too much of a hot potato. Thousands of people protested, and ICE had to back down. So it just takes the people to melt ICE, but we've got to do it together. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Next is Victor Christensen.
As a stakeholder, there was a notice this morning about some more SR 47 interchange project work, which is If you don't know it by number, that's basically the Vince Thomas Bridge. These two are starting a week from today on the 18th. Not on the bridge itself, but on either side of the bridge along Front Street and Harbor Boulevard. The first one is the northbound I-110 on-ramp from Front Street, which if you go down where, just next to the bridge off of Front Street, that's that on-ramp that goes only one direction from Front Street. And according to this, it will be closed permanently. The current one will be closed permanently Monday night on August 18th, and the new on-ramp will open in November of this month. So the workaround for that is to continue down Front Street to John S. Gibson Boulevard on that entrance to the 110 North, right next to where the police department is. The second one is in the same general area. This is coming off of the bridge, the southbound off-ramp down to Harbor Boulevard, which is generally in the same area. That one will be closed over the same time period, August 18th, and the new one will be opening up in November. The workaround for that one is instead of trying to get off the bridge onto that on or off-ramp, continue on the bridge to Channel Street, then make a right on Pacific, left on Front Street, and basically you're making a big loop to come back around to be able to go on Harbor Boulevard. And that's all.
Thank you, Vic. And the last card that I have here is from Gwen Henry, also speaking as a stakeholder.
Hi, I've been tasked by a group of people to get some feedback on the new My LA 311 app. A lot of people have been having a lot of problems. Please try to get on that new app. Give all the feedback you have on that. One thing that's different, the old app, you're going to have to sign in again. You're going to have to go and make an account, an Angelina account, and then go from there. If you don't, you can still access your ticket, but it's a very difficult process. You have to detective it out, try to find it on a map, and look at its status. A lot of people are giving feedback already that their tickets are not being responded to in the same time frame. In some cases, they're being canceled. In my case, I submitted 2 tickets. One was a B ticket, and it was downgraded to a low priority. But this particular B thing, I was very clear to say that these are aggressive bees. They're in a location that they've already stung me and attacked me and chased me out of the yard. One bee ends up being 5 bees, ends up being 10 bees. They start running after you, and then you're stuck in your house. So if any of you have that, please give me your feedback at gwendolynz@hotmail.com. GWENDOLYN, Z as in zebra, at hotmail.com. So, definitely just bring it in. For the next month, I'm going to be collecting and compiling all sorts of feedback. So play around with it. And you know how Tim McOsker really loves this, the My LA 311 app. It's kind of a point of pride that each neighborhood council, not the neighborhood council, but the city district, the council district, the one with the highest amount of calls, gets a little bit of props. So let's keep using it. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Gwen. Okay, I have no other public comment cards, so we're going to go ahead and close out this agenda item. We're going to move on to agenda item number 3, the Homelessness Liaison Report. Lori Jacobs.
Hello again. No ice. Sorry. So the last page of my report is the section on resources, and I added a comment on there that I'm just going to throw out to you to think about. What actions have you and our neighborhood council taken recently to help address the issues related to homelessness? Have you used any of these resources? I'm going to keep reminding you guys that there's resources out there to help people. Let me say that after I submitted this report to Cheryl, I went back and on the homeless count numbers, I added by neighborhood council the numbers from last year. They're not in your packet because she'd already printed it, but they're on the website. I know, I checked it too. Thank you, Thomas. So it was real time consuming, so read it. No, Thomas did. But so first I just want to mention the CD15 working group, I think I mentioned last month, is going to sort of disband. And so they're considering ending in-person meetings. They're planning to continue through email distribution and share updates. I plan to give my reports to them. You can still send information. Their distribution list, I think, has like 300 people on there. But the last in-person meeting is September 3rd. I'm going to be out of town, but if you're interested, please consider attending. And if you want to get on their email list, it's listed here, cd15wg@gmail.com. Okay, so the homeless count raw numbers came out. What does raw numbers mean, Lori? Well, I'll tell you that. Raw numbers mean, I like to have a conversation with myself. These are the actual numbers from the count before they put, quote, a multiplier on it. Multiplier meaning we counted tents, we counted cars, we counted RVs, and chances are there's more than one person in these. For some reason, they have not released the data with the multipliers or what the multiplier is this year. I looked up, they did last year. So these are raw numbers, which means it's probably more people than what you see. So first I have all of CD15 for the last 3 years. And you can see a fairly steady decrease in total dwellings. And you see an increase in people who are sheltered. Are these numbers what we would like to be? No, we're always, of course, going to want to improve these. And I remind you each time, this is a one-night point-in-time count. This is not science. Okay, there's a lot of variables. So I broke down each a dashboard by each neighborhood council. So Northwest, you don't have the raw numbers in front of you, except Thomas does on his computer. So we have no shelters in Northwest. As far as total unsheltered persons, last year we had 14. This year we have 12. Last year we had 37 dwellings. This year we had 10. That's quite a decrease. So we had quite a bit of improvement. Wilmington, which had probably some of the biggest numbers in CD15, went from 435 total dwellings to 341. For you data geeks, and I know we got a couple here, you can go through. If you have questions on them, you could reach out to me. All of this is on the LAHSA website. I want to mention that I believe it was in the news today that in Washington, D.C., the guy in the White House is planning to remove about 4,000 people who are unhoused, and the words used are, they will be disappeared. I don't know what the words disappeared. I have no idea what that means, but that should be a wake-up call to all of us. That is quite frightening. Okay? Hang on, let me get to the end of the report. So I try not to get too political, but that's just really quite scary. Update on the new county department, the Department of Homeless and Services Housing, this group called Changewell Project. Okay, they're this nonprofit that they are supporting the county's commitment, doing a community engagement. I sat in on one of their webinars. I'm applying to be in one of their focus groups. They're going to have in-person meetings, so I'll continue to tell you about that. I have a little excerpt from the LA Times dealing with the guy in the White House's order on homelessness. Okay. his executive order to address endemic vagrancy and end crime and disorder. It's just a little scary. So I just put an excerpt from the LA Times, which kind of captures it. I happened to run into Mayor Bass, asked her about this. She obviously was not happy, and she said, why can't he just leave LA alone? We have enough going on. So just sharing some of that information. With the changes to Medicaid, which isn't supposed to happen until next year, but already providers are stopping coverage in anticipation. Hospitals are stopping coverage in anticipation. We can expect more people really struggling out there. So like I always tell you, you guys are going to go home to a nice warm bed. You've got food in your cupboards and your refrigerator, and you've got clothes in your closet, and there's a lot of people out there that don't. You may think I'm being dramatic, but this is the truth. We've all driven by and seen people laying in the street. So remember, this is a humanitarian issue. If you can do one thing for one person or one family, and we all did that, we'd make some headway. So that's it for my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Lori. Any questions? Yeah, that's a great report. Any questions for Lori?
No questions, but I was just going to talk about that because 11 days ago there was...
Can you talk in the mic?
I felt loud. 11 days ago, or maybe it was a few days longer than that now, but they had an encampment for all the homelessness in like LA, Van Nuys area, and now all of a sudden it's all gone. They were like concentrating them to just this one big block and closed off by fences and cops. I don't know if you saw that in LA.
I don't follow all of them. It could have been one of the mayor's programs that she has where she gets services out there and she doesn't disappear people.
Yeah, it was
okay. They find shelter. They find, depending on what their needs are, if they need to go into rehab, they need to get mental health, as much as she can find resources here. So they don't just move them.
It was just creepy because then just a couple of days ago they showed the whole area cleared out all of a sudden. So it's just kind of like, okay, you saying that, I'm like, oh, where did they go?
I think that's a little different. You could look at the Lomita McCoy encampment, which has been on and off for many, many years. It's pretty well, I haven't been there recently, but it's been cleared. But people have been moved into motels in interim housing. I'd love to see us get rid of interim housing and go straight to housing and not have this interim shelter, which is extremely expensive. You need case management. Wouldn't it be great if we could just go right from street into housing or rehab or something like that? I'd like to see that.
And then just a side note, like there's a woman and children's shelter in Wilmington for women that have kids and no money to buy clothes for them. So I bring all my baby clothes there and all my old clothes there. So ladies, if you have anything, you can ask me the location.
There's somebody who did something this month. Thank you.
Yeah, since Luch was born, I found it. So
thank you for doing that.
If you have grandkids that bring their old baby clothes, these women really need it for their kids, car seats, everything.
There's a lot of food distributions going on right now because whether somebody's housed or not housed, people are really struggling. The YMCA in Wilmington has a great program. The Venice Family Clinic in Gardena, and I think Toberman and some of the others here have some food distributions.
Thank you, Christina, for the question and the comments. Adrian?
Thank you. Lori, always a good report. There's two things I want to touch on. In March, I attended the working group, and there was something that caught me about the Section 8 housing, how they're not taking any more applicants. Is there it's just...
No more vouchers.
It's just done.
They're not issuing any new vouchers. A lot of vouchers were issued during COVID, emergency vouchers. And if you're living in housing on a voucher, you can stay there. But if you now have improved and you've got a job and you can afford rent and you move out of there, that voucher's dead. The apartment doesn't stay as a Section 8 with that voucher.
So on top of getting rid of distributing vouchers, the requirement, they just uplift the requirements in a certain...
There are no vouchers.
Okay, I get it.
They don't exist anymore.
And then the second one I want to touch on that guy in the White House, what he whatever. I'm not trying to make it political. Obviously, I'm not. But there's always that, political attack of, when we had the APEC summit in San Francisco, everybody blamed the governor for, moving all, the unhoused people. And I know Mayor Bass, because I was there, went. And so what could be the approach to this, right? Because obviously, we've seen already that, we don't want federal government coming in when Los Angeles is already doing what it needs to do to combat the homelessness crisis. So I mean, just kind of funneling these things, thinking about it, it's, more, I mean, what we saw in Van Nuys a couple weekends ago, I mean, that's bad. Cleaning those up, addressing those. So, I mean, it's just really big of a concern to me, that's why I asked, cutting Section 8 vouchers and then going in to bring the federal government in. That's just, pretty astonishing. And it doesn't solve the issue at all. So really, what do you believe really how this could be really, addressed? I know there's no really talking to this guy.
I wish I was Tinkerbell with a magic wand, or Samantha who could twitch her nose, but it's very complex. Last night I listened to the Sustainability Alliance discuss SB 79, where they went back and forth and tied it into homelessness and tied it into environmental issues, but housing, and people were on all over the map on what the right thing to do is for new housing. As you know, when new housing is proposed, a lot of people come out with reasons why they don't want it in their backyard, or they don't want high density. The fact is, with the amount of people we have living here, we have to have higher density housing. That's my opinion, since you're asking. And since we don't have a lot of land, sometimes we have to build up. Personally, I keep proposing this, and I'm going to try and write something up. Shared housing, where housing already exists and people are in homes where they can't afford them anymore. They can't afford their property tax, things like that. They need to start renting out rooms, not necessarily to the chronically homeless or people who have some mental health or drug addiction, just people who have hit economic snags. I think that I'm going to propose this to change. Well, I did mention it on the webinar. There are out-of-the-box ideas of housing that already exists that isn't going to cost a lot of money. But I wish I had an answer.
I'm sure we all, but this guy's just not.
Christina?
Speaking of, there was a topic actually on the radio that using buildings downtown, business buildings that are vacant, and transitioning those into housing shelters. So they were actually interviewing people about the possibility of LA doing that. So
how about the vacant building that has the graffiti all up and down it? They're not doing anything about it, and it remains vacant. It's owned by some foreign.
Yeah, and it's meant for residential. So there you go.
But it's a mess now because people have vandalized it. So that's going to cost a lot of money. I'm trying to figure out what kind of low-cost things can we do that are quicker.
Gwen, sorry.
Hey, Lori. So things are very fluid this year. When you go down the freeway, the traffic is free and open, which kind of speaks to some of the unofficial communications that people are not going to work. They're afraid to go to work. And so that an indication of that being legitimate is an open freeway at traffic times when you always were used to full, slow commutes. I'm wondering if the people who are working with homeless individuals and those who are now housing vulnerable, if there is more outreach going on, there's more data, there's more feedback, there are more people coming in and going to food banks and maybe for pet food and things like that. Is that going on? Is there data being collected? And my second part of the question regarding homelessness is has the outreach to the homeless community been so well documented that they know the names of everybody, so that if those people disappear from the street, somebody will be looking for them? Because if there is a group that decides to remove them without their possessions, without their pets, and without their family knowing about anything, and maybe a false name is being given because they don't trust that individual or that group, that would make that person highly vulnerable to completely disappearing and no accountability and no accounting of their presence at all. So I'm wondering if there's any contingency plans for that.
Well, you just threw a lot of important topics at me. Let me say that we have less jobs, which means less outreach workers out there. I can say that the new county organization, if you go on to, and I have a link to their website, and again, they're looking for community engagement. One of the Measure A requirements that replaced Measure H with that increase of 1/4 sales tax is that they're supposed to have better data, better tracking, better transparency, okay? But you throw into there the equation of what's going on with immigration, and you have people who are afraid to speak up, whether they're documented or not. If their last name is Hispanic, they're petrified. I think when the school year starts, which I guess in LAUSD starts next week or something, this week, okay, there's a lot of people afraid to take their kids to school. As far as, I think I've read things about people who have disappeared and they've left notes. They're concerned about their pets. Who's going to take care? I know Ray's brought that up several times. Who's going to take care of their pets? People, if they're not going to, people are afraid to speak up. How do we track that data? I can tell you, a friend of mine, a lot of you know Dave Matthews, not the guy in the band, but my friend Dave, who is in the Harbor Gateway doing outreach. He keeps data himself. He tracks people. He follows up as an individual. He's got hundreds of lists, okay, because of the fact that nobody's really following them. But also the Measure A money that they're looking at using was based on a 1/4 increase in sales tax. Well, guess what? Retail sales are going down. So the income that they projected. So I'm just saying it's all, I hate to be the, lady of doom here, but it all trickles down. It's all related. Be grateful, like I said, that you're going home to hopefully all of you are going home to a place. Think about what you could do to help somebody else, because our government is in a budget crisis. We're in Thomas was just sharing with me before the meeting that the college students are having trouble getting jobs. Engineering, they go into this career and now there's no jobs. Think about this when you go to the voting booth next time. That's all I can tell you is we need to be, I don't know how else to answer these questions.
Any other hands? Any other questions? No. Thank you so much for the information, and thank you for your persistence in getting the facts and bringing them to us. Appreciate that, Lori. Thank you.
Help somebody, guys. Help somebody.
Okay, we're going down to agenda item number 4, which is our representatives from our leadership of our community. I do not see anyone from any of the elected offices here today, so let me go to our public safety people because I know there's some time crunches. So if I can, I'll go ahead and ask our new visitor, Chief Flores. Is that the proper title, Chief?
Yeah, Chief Flores. You call me Jim Flores.
Jim Flores, okay.
So anyway, hello everybody. I'm new to the area, just recently assigned here to Battalion 6. So I wanted to come down here and introduce myself and at least make my face known here and offer our services. Been to a couple of these meetings in the past. I was listening to some of your guys' concerns, and what I'll do is when I go back to the Bureau office, I'll see if we have anything that that would be of interest to you as well. We do a lot of interaction with the homeless, as you guys can imagine, and so be happy to help you with that. But if you have any requests or you guys have any questions, I'd be glad to address those. Sir,
could you maybe just cover a little bit about the fire that we had? Down
Sure. I happen to know a little bit about that. I was actually the officer in charge of that fire. It turned out it was an AT&T building. I don't know if you've seen the video footage of it or not, but it's actually filled with servers for the area, AT&T, and there are other agencies or other entities that use that those servers as well. Started as an outside trash fire out in front of the building, got into the roof area, and then actually got the attic going very well. And we had resources. We still have resources on scene there now, off and on. But total loss of one of the buildings. We did save the large 2-story to the north of it, and some of the surrounding buildings behind it. Our concerns during the firefight were there are large quantities of products in there, dangerous products in there. They have batteries. We had to do some research. You probably have heard the dangers of the lithium-ion batteries. It turns out that these were lead acid, which are a little better, not great, but they're a little bit better than the lithium-ion stuff. Large quantities of fuel, had a pretty large fuel tank in the facility, and storage quantities of acid, along with all the other products of combustion from the plastics and the other items that were in there for the servers that were actually burning. Unfortunately, it had a good head of steam before we got there. Originally, it was dispatched to our folks as a rubbish or a trash fire, and we had a single engine respond. And then he, pretty shortly thereafter, discovered while putting out the main fire, the outside fire, discovered that it had gotten into the attic and then filled out the assignment. And so we responded after that. That building is a complete loss. We did give the control of the scene back to AT&T this morning at, I think it was about 10 o'clock this morning. And they're working diligently. I hope it didn't affect any of you here, but we have had some reports that folks were having trouble on their cell phones. Did you experience that? Yeah. So I know they're coming up with some workarounds. I don't know. I don't have any promises for you. I don't know. I'm an AT&T subscriber myself, and I didn't have any trouble down at the bottom end of the battalion of the district, south end, but I guess at Midway, the Harbor Gateway area, it does affect them a little bit there. And I don't know I can't tell you which servers controlled what, but we did have a pretty substantial fire in that firefight in that building. And so our folks did the best they could. We had a lot of concerns, no real civilian issues or exposures that we know. We had some apartment buildings that were behind it, but the good Lord blessed us with some winds that were going the right direction that kept them off the apartments. But we were monitoring. We had hazmat on scene. We had our JHAT folks on scene. We had numerous entities there helping us. We were doing downstream monitoring, and it was very important to all of us that anything that enters the storm drains ends up down here. So we had monitoring. We were constantly monitoring the water runoff. We diked all of the product that was coming off with sand, and did a pretty good job. Our folks did a pretty good job of containing all of the runoff and all the products of combustion that were at that fire. So you can be very proud of your fire department. Our folks did a real good job. And you probably may or may not have seen there's some pretty dramatic video of one of our folks as they were getting off the roof were enveloped with fire. The roof ventilated. We had a small explosion at one point early into the fire. And one of our firefighters was leaning off the end of the aerial ladder to ventilate the roof on his way off, and it actually ignited and pretty much engulfed him in flames. But I'm happy to report he's doing well, no real serious injuries. Our personal protective equipment did a good job. And so we're doing real good. We're glad that didn't turn out to be more significant. May have sustained a little bit of damage on the end of the aerial ladder, which was also engulfed, but it turns out it's not going to be too serious. But all in all, we were very fortunate that no one else was really seriously hurt. So.
Well, we're glad to hear that no serious injuries, and I hope the firefighter is well and good very soon, very quickly. I'll take any questions, or we'll take any questions from around the table if there are any. I see no hands. Well, you're lucky today.
Man, yeah. I was going to say,
there's always someone that's going to ruin it.
Be the first time.
Sorry.
It's not really in our area, but it's affecting some of our area. Is that fire that was on Walker with the garage?
Yes, ma'am.
That caused like all of Cox to go out, and it caused like all kinds of utility issues and stuff. What happened?
So, I was there. Are you talking about 15th Street and 16th Street?
Walker and Walker.
Maybe that's a different fire. But anyway, at the garage with the gentleman that makes furniture, is that the same?
What?
Is it a garage?
A garage with a furniture manufacturer, creator.
The what?
I can't. Furniture manufacturer. Did it occur in the garage?
Yeah, supposedly it was a garage that burned down, and it got all of the utility stuff all around it. So
yeah,
it's affected a lot of Cox users and all of that.
Yeah, the lower wires down the alley were affected initially, and as well as some electrical wires. They should be restored here shortly if they haven't been already.
It was restored about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Was it restored?
I'm sorry?
Kelly?
It was restored about 1 o'clock this morning.
I can't hear you.
It was restored about 1 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, because people are still posting that a lot are still out, and they said like 7 o'clock tonight is what they were projecting again for those people.
That's pretty typical of a fire that exposes the wiring like that. Typically, what we ask is the fire department, we have DWP, Department of Water and Power, shut down the power to the area initially if it's affected the main transmission lines. In this instance, it should have just been pole to house that was affected. And our folks will usually shut down the power from pole to house, and then we'll ask DWP to take a look if there's a surge or some other issue in the area. We'll have them shut down a grid. They'll come out and check. It's out of our hands. They'll come out and they'll check to see if there's any collateral damage. Then they'll restore the power incrementally all the way back to the structure. And then that night we left the garage was the only thing that didn't have power. We restored it back to the house. And so as far as communications, those are the lowest on the pole. When they go pole to pole, those are lowest hanging. And so a lot of times the flames will affect it, and that's what happened in this instance. And then at that point, it becomes up to whoever the third party's communications lines or equipment that belongs to restore it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments? Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I don't see no other hands, so I think you're okay. Thank you so much for being here.
You're very welcome.
Welcome to the community. I know this is not a new community for you, but welcome.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Senior Lead Officer Valoni.
All righty. Good evening, folks. Officer Valoni, the Senior Lead Officer for Northwest San Pedro. So I wish I had the crime stats for you guys. Unfortunately, the crime analyst he gave me 75% of the map, so I don't want to give you guys false data. But the numbers do look good. So I won't go into that. I'll have to. I asked him to redo it, but he left already, so I have to wait till tomorrow. But what I can do is talk about some of the events. I think Lori brought it up earlier, the town hall that we were able to host. I think it was a great event. We had like about 200 people attend. We had the District Attorney Hoffman, the council member McCosker. A lot of people were able to voice their concerns. We were able to provide resources to those that were able to vocalize their complaints. And so I think it was a really good event. The National Night Out that we attended, I first want to say thank you guys so much for your support. It was an outstanding event. The community was super happy with it. So, I mean, really, honestly, on behalf of Harbor Division, we are super happy for your guys' support that you guys gave to us. Upcoming, we have a Tip-A-Cop tomorrow. So this is to support the Special Olympics that are going to be happening. And the Tip-A-Cop is going to be tomorrow, August 12th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Palm Court Cafe. The address is 889 West 190th Street in the city of Gardena. And basically what we do is, as a SLO office, community relations, we act as waiters, and we'll deliver food, all that stuff, and we're going to try and earn some money. Maybe even rob you. No, I'm just kidding. So the goal is to get as much money as possible to donate to Special Olympics. And we did it in years past, and it's a great event. So if you're available, I left some flyers in the back over here. Please pick out a flyer, spread it around as fast as you can. We've been sharing it, so but if you guys are able to attend it, much gratitude. To address the San Pedro Library, again, one of the big focal points of the meeting with the town hall. LAPD and the councilman's office, they were able to provide some funding to get a lot of resources there in terms of officers. They had, for 2 weeks, 2 officers a day working 10 hours a day, providing support at that intersection. So it was really good. Multiple arrests were made, citations were issued. As of right now, it looks pretty clean and clear, and we'll do our best to maintain that. Let's see here. Lori also brought up Hariso and Basin, so that's another point. So although it is nice and clear right now, our hope is that we can maintain that and help the folks as they travel around, and we'll do what we can to help them. Let's see here. We brought up now that school is starting, so traffic safety. Please slow down around schools. Don't text and drive. Stop at the stop signs and share that with your community members as well. The last thing we want is for a child to get hit by a car, and that can be very traumatic and very sad. So please do what you can, do your part, and traffic safety. And that is all I have. Like I said, unfortunately, I don't have the crime stats, so I apologize.
If I can just say that I would like to extend my thanks for the turnout at National Night Out with our neighborhood council, because we were there, and we were there strong with this many people that were there. And I especially want to thank LAPD for putting us right next to the Krispy Kreme donuts. I don't think that was like the best place that we could be, where our pop-up was. So, Russell, I know it was all you who did it for us.
Indeed.
So thank you so much for that.
Got to take care of you guys.
You just wanted to torment him and put him next to his wife.
Yeah, I don't really want to thank you for that, because I just caught it all the time. I mean, I can't get away from her. But we do have a couple questions. John was first, and then Christina, and then Melanie.
I just wanted to say this: that you guys did a super job. It was really good. Everybody that came by when I talked to people, they enjoyed the tour. Okay, it wasn't an Alfred Hitchcock tour of Universal, but it was a good tour. I was kind of disappointed you didn't arrest my daughter, but it's okay. I mean, it really was good. Everything, Mel and I talked to different people. Christina was talking to people and getting things. So it was, it was really good. Alonzo was there. Most of the Adrian. Yeah. We had a lot of good crew from Northwest. So it was really good. And you guys, fantastic. We're looking forward to the next one.
No, we're going to. We're going to try and do it like this every single year now.
It's yearly.
Yeah, excellent.
That's cool.
Good. Nice job.
Same, I just wanted to thank you that we had the opportunity to participate in that. I think it was a great turnout. It was very well put together. Had a really good time. Thank you for the award. And the other thing I wanted to say is one of the things I'm striving with, and this can go for the whole community, is trying to get the Neighborhood Watch to start, rather than being like a crusader and going out there and trying to tackle when they have a homeless person, causing havoc or making them uncomfortable in their yard or on their property or whatever, rather than going out there and, having a shouting match and getting them to try and leave or whatever, it's better off to call the 1-877 Ask LAPD number and get somebody there to help them, not ask for people to come and be the vigilantes, to come and grab them off your property and stuff. And we've had a lot of that lately, and I'm just really hard trying to advocate that people use LAPD for what it's there for. And then they'll send Circle possibly or whatever.
Yeah, so I agree with you 100%. Please, there's no need for a confrontation. We always have resources available. We have people to come and assist. So if you could spread that with the community, I do my best as well. I think that's beneficial. It's challenging, right? Because it's, everyone's moving everywhere, and we do our best because sometimes they lose their phones or it's hard to contact them and they get lost in the system. But we also sometimes are looking for them because we know that the outreach workers are looking for them, and if we're able to run into them, then we can get them in contact with the right people as well.
And I'll add to that if they're dangerous and they propose something very violent, then it's a 911 call, like what happened with Ted the other night with the guy with the machete chasing him down the street. I said, "What are you doing?" That was a 911 call. Why didn't you call 911? And I called it for him. But that's a 911 call. Yeah. But somebody sitting in your yard isn't, or acting crazy or drugged out. That's not really, unless they're a threat to you.
And I'm really hoping that one day that the non-emergency line will have a faster pickup time. That will definitely alleviate a lot of problems. But yes, please, proper reporting via 911 or the non-emergency line to get the resources there and to report it properly rather than social media and other means. So please, proper reporting.
Adrian?
First, great event. I came at the back end of it, and it was still a lot.
Hey, so did the chief of police.
One thing at the CPAP that I heard was the drones. I don't know if it was, but it kind of looked like I was, standing outside, and there's this huge. It was huge, and it made it seem like it was some small little. No, that thing is huge drone. I think they're test driving it, and but my concern is the lifespan of those drones. From my understanding, they were 15 minutes. They last. That was like the battery.
No, I don't think it's 15 minutes. I think it's going to be for a few hours.
Okay, because that was my concern. How long? Before it's in midair and it drops down or something.
So what he's talking about is we're super thankful. We're going to be able to get some drones in the division. I forget who it was. Somebody was bringing it up like a long time ago during one of these meetings, and thankfully, it's a great use of technology. We'll get to certain calls faster and do certain things with it that is less risk to the community and less risk to officers. Now, when exactly that gets implemented, I don't have an answer for that. But we're currently trying to train officers to fly these drones, and they have to get licensed and all that stuff. But, oh, my God, it's going to be an amazing attribute to the community.
How many do you...
Should be 2 to a division, if I'm not mistaken, but obviously we're so early in the stage of that changing. Plans are going to change.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and I think it'll help well. So I just want to follow up and continue looking at it. Because, I was just standing outside, and I was looking in the direction of the harbor station, and it's just huge tests.
They're pretty big.
Yeah, so I just want to continue to follow up on that, because I think it'll be very useful.
Yes.
I know we have a question from Lori, but let me take the ones from around the table, if that's okay, Lori. So next will be Gwen.
Hey, well, I'm glad he mentioned the drones. Well, 2 things after my little comment about the drones. If there's anything else from that town hall that this group may not, and the audience may not have been privy to, if there's any highlights from that meeting, because there was a lot of excellent information. But in regards to the drones, I got to thinking, so there were a couple of actions in the last couple of days, and the helicopters going, and I'm thinking, the one good thing about the helicopters is if there's something that is really a big emergency, you know exactly where it's happening, and it kind of gives you a little alert, so you can go and find out if there's something crazy going on. I'm wondering if there can be some kind of attention-getting portion to those drones that
an alert
that kind of gives a person the information that there is an action going on in this area to please try to avoid it.
So you mean like an alert to the community, like FYI,
Yeah,
there's going to be a drone in this area or flying for X, Y, and Z reasons?
Well, sometimes, I mean, if it's something like they're looking for a gunman, if they're looking for a guy with a machete, you know,
More
it's
of an updated.
It's a little easier when to know, oh, I hear a helicopter. It's been buzzing for a little while. Let me take a look and see what's happening.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
So
Community won't get the drone.
It's going to be nice and quiet. God bless it. That's going to be wonderful, except.
That's a good point, actually. That's something to bring about because obviously the community is going to have to know. So I'll bring it up to the captain.
Yeah.
Let them know, like, what are we
I mean,
thinking about this?
if on a hot summer night you've got your door wide open and you didn't really think about it, and there's some guy running through everybody's yards and might jump into, you know, it would be good to know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Close your door, lock it.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
And if anyone didn't view the town hall, it was recorded on the LAPD Harbor Division Facebook website. So if you would like to still view it, it's available.
At what location? At what location is it available again?
Oh, the LAPD Harbor Division website for Facebook, on Facebook.
Yeah.
Vic?
Regarding the back to school, one thing in particular that is problematic in this area is the area around Taper Avenue Elementary, particularly cars most likely either dropping off or picking up, or possibly people trying to get around all those people dropping off and picking up, coming west on Westmont, going on Berrywood, around to Sandwood, up Sandwood, and down Amelia, back to Westmont. The ones who go that way are typically zooming their way through and, you know, speeding, probably running stop signs as well. If there's any way to maybe put some extra patrols or extra time in that area, that would be good to try to stop those guys. I mean, go in the opposite direction, it probably happens too, but I've noticed it more in the direction I just described.
Okay.
And it does cause a problem with people, you know, zooming down from Sandwood to Westmont on Amelia at least. And I'm sure they're zooming around even with the humps on Berrywood and Sandwood too.
Yes. So I met with the principal of Taper just the other day. They're going to have a different valet system going on this year. I think they're separating into two different areas, back and front. But we'll get the resources on that area to help out with the traffic enforcement.
Yeah, I think that'll help with the school area directly, right next to the school. But for people who are trying to get around the traffic backup because of that, that's not going to address, that itself isn't going to address that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to the school, they're just trying to get around all the traffic backed up because of that.
Yeah, we'll try to get some resources there. I'll notify the traffic car and also some of the cars that work in our division to assist there.
Okay, thank you.
Kelly.
That's all schools. We have the same issue at our school. They come down 7th Street like crazy. But I wanted to ask you a question about sorry. I wanted to ask you a question about all these kids on motorized bikes everywhere. They're shooting out of alleys, out of parking lots. I know they're all going back to school, and I know it's going to alleviate a lot of that right now, but how are they able to ride a motorized vehicle not being old enough? I saw like a 6-year-old on one the other day.
So
I don't know what to do.
I feel like every dang kid has an electric bike now.
Yeah.
I swear. And but in terms of addressing the issue, so there's a lot. They're all over the place. It's not solely San Pedro. It is an issue because it's a safety issue. Right. So there are certain vehicle code laws that do apply, and they can be enforced. The challenge is obviously stopping these individuals, and they are much more maneuverable. And the pursuit of an electric bike, you know, the officer's going to make that decision with a kid and stuff, and we don't want anyone getting hurt. But if it's available, they can do it. We also, what we've done in the past is we've asked for motorists to come down and help out with that issue in certain locations around, I think it was Bogdanovich Park and Averill Park, if I'm not mistaken. And they were able to help out. They gave some citations to some kids and talked to them, educate, right? A lot of it just comes down to education for some of the real little ones. and they're able to help out that. So I don't mind contacting South Traffic again and seeing if they can get like a little task force together to kind of help out. But I agree with you 100%. It is an issue. They just jump out of nowhere, and it's just like, whoa.
Right here in the parking lot today, right around McDonald's, they cut me off coming into the Park Plaza, and cut me off going across to Subway. And it's not just one. It was like 5 or 6 kids.
Groups.
And it just scares me because I remember when we had the thing where they were going down 7th Street on the skateboards, and now I see another safety issue happening where it's going to take somebody getting really hurt, and I don't want to see that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Okay. We have John and then Kane, and then I'll take Lori, and Lori will be our last question here, so we can move the agenda along. So, John?
The drones, did they do anything for 4th of July?
The drones for LAPD?
Yeah.
No.
You guys didn't have anything out there that...
No.
Because I had spotted maybe 6 or 7 floating around.
Could be private drones.
Yeah.
That's a different challenge, but if they're flying a drone...
Well, hopefully when you guys do get these drones that... I mean, these guys are shooting big boys right out in the street, you know.
That's a different goal. I think that during the town hall, the district attorney was talking about him wanting to use drones and other. If FD was still here, they were able to maybe get involved in what some of the programs that the district attorney saw. Yeah, I think he said used in San Jose or San Francisco. I forget where it was, but basically, they were flying drones around, identifying problem locations, and then issuing pretty big fines. And so that should be a pretty big.
Well, you can hear. I mean, I'm sure Ray knows what I'm talking about. They were just down our street doing it, blowing up. I mean, and these were, you know, on the other side of Capitol. There's a group on the other side of my side of the street, across in the back street back there, as you know, Notchville's and where Ray is. You know, you can just see them, hear them.
There's definitely much more that I think that us as a city we need to do to address the firework issue. It's a little unbelievable now. It's a lot of control.
Yeah.
Kane.
My question is around the electrical bikes. Have we seen, obviously, accidents?
Use the mic, Kane.
I am talking into the mic. Thank you. My question was, you know, the increase of, you know, e-bike related incidents and, you know, yeah.
So in terms of traffic collisions with the e-bikes, I don't have any numbers off me. Our traffic officer, he has all that data, and he analyzes the reports that are completed. But obviously, when those are involved, there's going to be more severe injuries. I used to work traffic as well, so I've responded to those scenes. So I haven't had too many. I just get a lot of complaints about them driving around, and I haven't yet to analyze any traffic-related accidents about it. I'll ask Officer Rowe if he has any of that data, but nothing as of right now is really any red flags. So,
Lori.
So a week ago, I came back from vacation to find a car parked in my carport. And on closer inspection, all the windows were broken out, so I knew something was wrong. So I called my SLO for Coastal, because that's where it is, looked it up. She said, yeah, that's a stolen car. And so I called property management. I told them to call the 877, ask LAPD. They did. Happened to be the same night as the nights out, like whatever it's called. Summer nights out. No. So I went there, and I went up to the front desk. They looked it up. I said, can you see if this has been reported? They got the report, and they said, in fact, the LAPD is at your property right now. By the time I got home that night, that car had been towed away. So you have to be patient. I called to thank my property management company because it does take a while. Melanie has told you guys you do have to sit on the phone for a while sometimes. But I just want to say that sometimes it works. And when I realized this was happening on the night you had your event, I'm like, well, LAPD's right here. Who's going to help me? But they did. And I just want to report that sometimes, you know, things do work. And also, I work at the library on Mondays. days. I was there today, clean as a whistle. It's been clean for like the last 3 or 4 weeks. I don't see any of the drug dealers out there. I don't see them even across the street in the strip mall. So we screamed a lot. You guys listened, and I really appreciate that. People feel safer at the library.
Well, at least she didn't say you guys were all at the donut shop.
We go there too.
No, they ran out of donuts at National Night Out.
You guys had plenty.
Ray ate them all.
So, Officer Baloney, thank you very much for your time and all the information, and thank you for being our senior lead officer. It's great.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Have a good night.
Okay, and we have one last.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to.
Two people.
I say
the city of Los Angeles.
Blame Ray because I tried to say I emailed y'all updates and he's like, nah, dog, that ain't it. So I have a couple updates for you all tonight. Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Johnson. I am the Neighborhood Empowerment Advocate for Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council. So I do have a few updates. In most cases, I'm going to do my best to email you all the updates ahead of time, so I won't have to stand up here. You won't have to see my beautiful self and hear my wonderful voice. However, tonight, I picked through my emails and tried to figure out some detail for the new board members and/or member. First things first, I'll start with some fun events. We have the Congress of Neighborhoods coming up September 27th at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, I'll repeat that. Saturday, September 27th at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That will be located at Los Angeles City Hall. The registration is currently open. I believe this theme is LA Strong, quote, quote. This is a free annual conference for the LA City Neighborhood Councils filled with education on city issues, panels, and presentations, inspiring speakers, and networking opportunities to interact with other neighborhood council and city leaders. In addition to that, this is a free event, and it is open to the public, so bring family, bring friends, bring a partner, even bring an enemy if you want to. Alongside of the Congress of Neighborhoods, we have the Empower LA Awards. For some folks that have been around the neighborhood council system for a while now, you may be familiar with that. I believe it's a little different this year. It'll be kind of hosted within the Congress of Neighborhoods. So at this moment, we're currently encouraging boards to submit nominations for the 2025 Empower LA Awards. These awards are presented by the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners, aka BONC for short. You'll hear that often. Recognize. They oversee the 7 neighborhood. I'm trying to get this right. Okay, there's like, how many board members, Ray? 7 BONC commissioners?
16. Well, we have 16 here, but 17.
The Board of Neighborhood Commissioners.
Bonk.
Oh, BONC.
Yeah.
7.
7. Okay. I got a little thrown off by my script here. So there are 7 boards of neighborhood commissioners. They represent all the neighborhood councils. So somewhere in here I just messed up, so I wanted to get it clear. It looked like it says they represent 7 neighborhood councils, and I just got thrown off right there. So we have 7 commissioners. Ray used to be the commissioner for San Pedro, right, the harbor area. So that's why I keep saying Ray. But they're taking nominations to support those, everyone, and also recognize those that demonstrate excellence in civic engagement and responsiveness to local needs. This includes the efforts to engage the public, improve city responsiveness, and uphold transparency, inclusiveness, and independence. So nominations are due by 11:59 p.m. That will be Sunday, August 31st. Again, that's by midnight, Sunday, August 31st, and that's for the Empower LA Awards. For those folks that are new to the neighborhood council system or new to the board, we ask that you reach out to your colleagues within the system and on the board to support you in making that decision. You are able to, again, nominate folks around the table, folks you may know of that are doing excellent work. Someone like Lori, I'm just got to put her out there. Yeah, so just want to make sure you all know that. It's also a great time for you all to be recognized for your hard work individually or together. So we want to keep that spark and that energy going. Again, in honor of Lori's great work as well, we do have the homeless liaisons, or AKA HLs for short, within the department. Please take board action to appoint or confirm your homelessness liaison. Do you all have one? That's Lori. Never mind that. But I will continue. She's like 7 different liaisons at this point. But I will say, for those that are new, this is the individual who serves as the point of contact between your neighborhood council and the city departments, agencies, and coalitions working on housing and homelessness. Homelessness liaisons help represent your board's perspective in broader policy conversations, while also bringing back valuable information and opportunities to your community. Those efforts within our department is led by my colleague, Prabjo. She is the lead for our department when working with the homeless liaisons. Final 2, and I will wrap it up. We also ask that you all appoint someone for the grievance panel. That's not messing with you, Lord. I just wanted to make sure. He's like, that's me. Do you have a point person on your neighborhood council who is the lead for the grievance panel? Take that as a no. So I'm going to read this out for you all, just in case. So we have a grievance portal. It was created to allow stakeholders or board members to file grievances against the neighborhood council board that they believe has failed to follow any of the following. Bylaws or standing rules of the neighborhood council, a section of the Los Angeles Administrative Code, section of the plan of the citywide system of neighborhood councils, applicable policy that is governed by the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners. Not going to keep reading that, et cetera, et cetera. So just wanted to bring that to you all's attention. You have the opportunity to nominate or submit someone to represent the neighborhood council as part of that grievance panel. And I also can provide guidance and information more later on. But that's an opportunity for another board member as well. Lastly, community impact statement filers. Community impact statements are official statements or positions adopted by a neighborhood council on issues pending before the city's decision makers. The community impact statement process was created specifically for neighborhood councils in order to publicly express their support, opposition, or suggestions about any matter pending before the city council, its committees, or city commissions. A community impact statement is an official statement used to express the position of the neighborhood council as a whole and is not used to express personal opinions. I shared that one lastly because CIS has come up a lot. I know folks are very familiar with it, but for those new folks that are sitting at the table and maybe in the audience as well, I think it's a wonderful tool that neighborhood councils should always take advantage of it. As your lead for the neighborhood council through the department, sometimes I'm shocked when I'm sitting in the council chambers in City Hall, and their agendas are empty, but they always have a section where neighborhood councils could advocate with CISs. So I always share the CIS information as much as possible because I would hate to continue to go to the council chambers and see not one neighborhood council advocating on the specific thing. But I do take that lightly because maybe it might be something that's not directly impacting neighborhood councils and or a specific neighborhood councils, but just know there is a lot of things outside of your neighborhood council that you can advocate for. And lastly, I would say on top of the lastly I just said was it did highlight city commissions and other city agencies as well when it comes to utilizing CISs. And I think most times neighborhood councils specifically just do the council members, right? So there's also other avenues for you all to advocate, not just directly to the city council members, but through the process that that's available to you as an advocate on behalf of your community. And I just realized as Lori kept speaking, please note to request that the mayor's office comes and does a presentation on all the services they provide in regards to homelessness. Our department had a meet and greet with the reps, and to my attention, I realized that the mayor's office, one of the things that they do that they really can support, I know we call it the mayor's office for everything, is the homelessness issues. They oversee a lot of the programs. They implement those programs. I would say, in my opinion, that's where their bread and butter is, so to speak. So please get that on the agenda to help Lori out so that you can identify those services and be able to request them or support efficiently. Other than that, do you have any questions on behalf of the department? No? One more last thing, the budgeting process. It always happens like around November, right? And we're already in August. So I'm going to find a timeline to support you all to get that information to you, or when and how to advocate for your budget or any other thing you need for the neighborhood council system. It's always a short window when these things keep coming up. Remember, the budget happens every year. So I just realized that when I was sitting back there. I want to get that information for you. Yes.
Could we have a card?
Funny thing about that, I would give you a piece of paper with all my information on it. And does anyone else around the table need one as well? Need my information? No? No? Okay. Okay. I'll get it to you, too.
This is Octaviano. You guys are probably going to have questions and stuff as you go along.
I didn't know Octaviano had dreads.
This is
Well, I see your emails right here. So
So you're good. Okay. Yeah, you know what?
This is
real
your
recognized
Octaviano
real
right
and
here.
greatness is in front of you, and greatness has always been in front of you at that point. So I'm not mad at it.
All right.
Well, okay, so could you please encourage everyone to, the new people, what is at the NC Congress and how they would benefit if they are new? I'm going, and I'm an old person. It's been a long time. The pandemic was a long time with no Congress. And one thing, as far as a pointer, if some of us get together, split up into different sessions, workshops, and then come back and then exchange information as to what we learned, that makes us more powerful as well. Just saying.
So as I'm on the other side of it kind of nowadays, like, because I'm a staff member. However, it's a great opportunity for board members to really network, have a thought partner with other neighborhood council board members, be able to process what your experience is. Also, as well as the workshops, the neighborhood, I keep messing up on that. The Congress of Neighborhoods, the folks that organize it, they pick specific workshops that will be engaging. It could be city electeds or other city departments running those workshops as well. So it's a great opportunity for you to learn more about a department, learn more about those departments that actually support neighborhood councils directly, but also have the opportunity to engage and ask questions and receive answers to those questions with those folks. For me, I think specifically networking is always great. So it is a number one amazing reason why to go, to make sure you network and you get free food. I didn't mention that earlier. So I always go for free food. Yes.
And on that note, it's important to RSVP because in the sign up, it actually asks you which topics you're interested in. Yeah, it's required to sign up.
So if I don't see y'all, I'm going to be mad.
So, if I can, is there anyone else that perhaps maybe we should get to know?
Yes. Thank you for that. Sometimes I wonder if I'm doing my job correctly or not, because I always get the benefit of the general manager or my supervisor coming to my meeting. So I'll let y'all determine what that is. But tonight we have a guest. She is my supervisor. She's the director of awareness and engagement, Marilu Guevara.
Yeah.
Yes. Come on, step up.
We record everything.
when you call me your supervisor, it makes me feel like I'm checking on you.
which I'm not. Hi, everybody. Good evening. I had the pleasure to connect with some of you before the meeting. So if for those of you who I haven't met, hopefully I'll get to connect with you after. If not, hopefully we'll get to connect at some point. Some of you I've probably emailed at some point. So Marilu Guevara, I have the pleasure to work with Daniel, and I am the Director of Awareness and Engagement, but more importantly, I get to work with our wonderful team at the department. If you ever attended a Board of Neighborhood Commissioners meeting, probably a year and a half ago when your president was the chair, I was that voice before Eric that you heard. But now, obviously, Eric does a great job at those meetings. I look forward to working with you all. I am the new regional director for the harbor area. As I was sharing with some of you, I like to get to know the neighborhood council, so I will drop in whenever I can. I don't live too far. I'm very, reachable, so you can always contact me. Obviously, your direct kind of line of communication and support is Daniel. And even when you reach out to me, I always loop in Daniel. Because, I always like to keep them in the loop on what's going on. And always here to support and help. My background is, like most of us here in the department, working with civic engagement, community organizing. I'm a volunteer in my own time, so I appreciate your time. And we're here to just make your public servant time easier, because we know how complex and intrinsic the city is. So anything that we can do on our end. And obviously, any way that I can make the engagement and the outreach portion more fun. And if you ever need capacity or any help with the outreach, consider myself available. And obviously, Daniel's great for that as well. With that said, I have cards and hopefully Daniel will get a card at some point. We're working on his cards. He'll get them. They're on the way. Yes. And I think that's it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, and for both of you. Always great resources for us. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, we're going to close out item number 4 and move on to the consent calendar. Item number 5, we have 3 items in our consent calendar. Approval of the July 2025 monthly expenditure report, the approval of the July 2025 budget, which are both out of Budget and Finance, and to approve the appointment of Kane Nicholas to the Budget and Finance Committee, and that is also out of Budget and Finance. But I do need a motion.
So moved by Gwen.
Gwen and Adrian. Any discussion? Yes.
I just want to explain why the MER and the budget are all on the consent calendar, because they're regular items that we do every month to month. A new thing when I went into that working group thing that we did for the rules for the funding for city clerk, one of the new rules that they've said is that anything that you regularly do, you can do as a consent calendar item versus putting it on. So that moves things a little bit along for like budget items and stuff now.
And I'm so happy to see it on there.
I have a question.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes, Gwen.
Melanie, this may be something that goes into the office supplies, but do we have the ability to have some cards made? Mine are so outdated.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
Christina.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Anything else? None? Okay, can we take a vote?
Christina Barbera,
Yes.
John Barbera,
Yes.
Christina Calandra,
Yes.
stand by. Okay, since these involve budget items, there are some of you who haven't, who don't have training completed, so you are ineligible to vote on these items on the whole consent calendar because they include the budget items. Okay, Christina Calandra.
Yes.
Vic Christensen, aye. Adrian Fernandez. Yes. Cynthia Gagnon.
Yes.
Gwen Henry.
Yes.
Alonzo Jenkins.
Yes.
April Jones.
Yes.
Melanie LeBrecq.
Yes.
Kelly Miller.
Yes.
Kane Nicholas.
Yes.
Thomas Norman.
Yes.
Ray Regalado.
Yes.
Angela Sumner.
Yes.
Okay, the other three, Christina Barbera, John Barbera, and Chris Valle don't have all training completed, so are ineligible to vote for this one.
Okay.
So that is 13 ayes and no nays.
Yeah.
Okay, we through? Got it? All right, let's move on to item number 6, motions. First item under A is Budget and Finance Committee. Melanie?
Okay, the first thing that we're doing is you'll go to page, like there's not that many here. Go over to page 11.
Oh my gosh.
And what this is the mailroom.
This is revolutionary.
It's their contract of what they're going to do. It's a scope of work. So it's $412 a month.
I already did.
What page is this?
So this is out of committee. So any discussion? No? Okay, so let's call for the vote then. Thomas?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Vic?
Aye.
Ray?
Yes.
Adrian?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
April?
Yes.
Gwen? Yes. Melanie, yes. Kelly?
Yes.
Angela?
Yes.
Alonzo?
Yes.
Christina Caldera?
Yes.
Calandra. The next thing is the rate increase. Originally, we were paying $408 a month for the mailroom, and now it's $412 because of the cost of constant contact went up from $58 to $62. So this is out of committee. Any discussion? Alrighty. Thomas?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Victor?
Aye.
Ray?
Yes.
Adrian?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
April?
Yes.
Gwen?
Gwen?
Doesn't even.
Melanie? Yes. Kelly?
Yes.
Angela?
Yes.
And Alonzo?
Yes.
And Christina?
Yes.
Calandra?
Yes.
Okay. So that is it.
Okay, moving on to item number 7, President's Meeting with the Port. Thomas?
No report.
No report. All right, moving on to item 8, and we have a few under there. So with that, Executive Committee, we've been pretty busy. I'm going to real quick. We've been pretty busy with the items here. I want to, again, thank you all for being at National Night Out. I want to emphasize the fact that that we were there strong, and it was impressive. I've got a lot of feedback from LAPD about it, from their leadership, about how strong we were there, how the amount of people who were there, and we were very engaged. We were really getting in there and talking to the community, passing out good information. Thank you so much, Christina, for being out front and making sure that people got our information. We had people going around and talking to other neighborhood councils. I got even some feedback from one of the other neighborhood councils that they were a little jealous of us, and I says, yeah, keep on being jealous because we're the greatest. And and it was really great. So thank you all for participating, because I know if you weren't there in body, you were definitely there in spirit, and we all carried the message for all of us as a body. So thank you. Let me tell you another little bit. The Vincent Thomas Bridge. We're getting close to it. Be prepared. I really appreciate Vic's announcements about all the work that is going in and around the Vincent Thomas Bridge. Let me tell you that work really isn't associated with the actual bridge work that's going to come up very soon. But it is related, because the port is doing things that will get traffic in and out around the bridge. So it's really important that we pay attention, and it's really important that we share the information with others. So please be aware. I think I mentioned it, but I'm going to say it again. The way I understand it, that bridge work, the resurfacing or the redecking as they call it, is going to take around 16 months when they actually start doing the work. However, they're going to be doing some pre-work to that bridge, and that's putting up major scaffolding pieces around the bridge so that nothing drops down to the bottom, and it keeps things as safe as possible. Not to mention the fact that they're going to have to transport workers up and down to the bridge when that bridge is shut down. So they're also going to be constructing elevators, temporary elevators on both sides of the bridge to get workers up there. And that's going to be almost a year. As I understand it today, the last time I had heard from the port, it's going to be about a year's worth of work with intermittent closures of the bridge for the scaffolding work. Then comes the main work, the redecking, and then when that's all over, they got to take all that scaffolding down and the elevators, and that could be up to 9 months worth of work, close to a year also, of intermittent closures. So it's going to be a long process. So be patient, be prepared, and let people know that this is going to be happening. And everything that's happening before that, I think people feel that, okay, the bridge work is starting, and it's not. These are just other jobs because they're still repairing the bridge in pieces and different parts, so they close a lane down here or whatever. I get people really upset that Caltrans isn't as forthcoming with the information as perhaps maybe they should be for community members. They'll go on and tell you, oh yeah, we interact with public safety, we interact with all the major departments like the Port of Los Angeles. They don't seem to understand that the important people to really communicate with are the community members themselves. So I think they can do a better job, and I continue to remind them that they need to do a great job at that. So, Gwen, I saw your hand up. If you want to say something.
Yeah, regarding the bridge and that communication from Caltrans, I don't know if this body can do something to really talk to the state. They are state, correct?
Caltrans.
How can we really cut through what seems to be a systemic problem with Caltrans? This is really, really bad. And, it's everything from that to perhaps there's an encampment that's on the property. we do need to be able to have a good communication with them, and this bridge is too much for us to still, for everything to be as business as usual.
Okay,
which is really unfortunate.
Let me answer that, because I have brought that issue to their attention while participating in these meetings with Caltrans about the bridge and all the stuff that goes on that's under the umbrella of Caltrans. Every one of these different projects that you see, it might be on the 110, it might be on transitions or things like that. Even on Western. Western is a Caltrans responsible party to repair that. They work in isolation. If there's a project going on Western, the people working on the bridge have absolutely no idea what's going on the bridge. I mean, on Western or the 110 or the 710. We get a lot of complaints going on over, about the 710. They don't know because they're not involved with that kind of work. And not to mention the repair work that goes on to some of these streets. That's a big problem. And I try to, I don't try, I really do insist that there's a better method of reporting and getting information back. I get the impression that they feel they're doing a good job at doing that. Unfortunately, they're not. They're not at all. So I will continue. I'm not going to stop.
To complete that dialogue regarding that, there was a fire and several closures that were Caltrans communicated, and it was their responsibility to communicate it. And I did my best on, usually Twitter, for example, there's a lot of, when it's fire related, you can get information from there. But when you're talking about the different divisions of Caltrans, there's even different regional ones within the state. They say, go to the app. The app is so dysfunctional, it is impossible to find out what's going on with that action that they refer you to go there to get the information. And it's absolutely dysfunctional. And I don't know if we can somehow, it is so broken. There's got to be a way of doing something, because
there is a way. We go to our elected state officials and let them know just how dysfunctional those things are.
Well, I believe that this body, since we're doing such a great job, this is a great group.
If there is a committee that would like to take up that job to be able to take the inventory of all the different things that we're running into as a community affected by the work of Caltrans, I think it's an appropriate action that we could take, at least advocate. So let me take Angela's.
I just had a question with the Olympics coming to San Pedro. Do we have any idea of the timeline and if that's expected to be completed by the Olympics?
According to Caltrans, the project, the Vincent Thomas Bridge project will be complete before the Olympics. Let me emphasize.
I think the current schedule is early 28, I think, is the current schedule for completion.
Hang on a second. Let me emphasize, this is coming from Caltrans. I think as community members, we are very skeptical about that, given Caltrans' record from past projects that we have kind of been a victim of. I'm sorry I didn't want to interrupt you, but I mean, they claim that they're going to be on it. And I really keep my fingers crossed that they will be on it. I'm real concerned that they won't be on top of it as they should. So I'm sorry I interrupted. Vic, if you want to continue.
I was just getting specific with what Caltrans is currently saying is the scheduled end date or completion date, and I believe it is sometime in early 28, or at least before the Olympics in 28. But as I recall, it's not very far before. So if they go over it even a little bit, it could go right into it. Especially because while the Olympics officially begin on a particular date, there's lead up to that too.
Preparation.
So if they are still, you got people coming in to the area from out of the area, the athletes and everything, and they're not gonna be coming in the day before, most likely. I think some actually do that, but if there's any delay in their expected completion date as it is now, it could easily go into the same time frame that people are coming into the area and stuff.
Yeah.
And moving around and setting things up and all that. So, as Ray said, skeptical.
Adrian.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up. At the last board meeting, we passed a motion regarding raising the height of the Vincent Thomas Bridge.
I was going to.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was gonna. Never mind. If you're gonna go into that.
Well, I'll go into it from what.
Yeah, I mean, I just because it's a joint planning. I got an email that the port may or may not present at the joint planning regarding the Vincent Thomas Bridge. I've been circulating an email for that next meeting. So I just maybe in the near future, maybe if the port can come to the board, take that some consideration, because I think the question is, okay, if they do, are they going to do their deck replacement, or are they just going to change it all and then end up doing a raise of the bridge?
So let me say two things about this perceived raising of the Vincent Thomas Bridge. I think it's a nice idea, but personally, I don't think it would happen, because it would require just almost like building a brand new bridge to raise the height of that bridge. I mean, and they have already mentioned many times that they don't have the money to do anything more than redecking, and that's already upwards of $675 million to do that job.
Yeah, I because when they first came, it was about June, and I guess the port was like, oh, it's Gene Soroka's idea, and then we had that discussion at the July, and it was that they come back, and then we passed the motion.
I have the motion here, and I want to make sure. And my question was going to be: has this been sent out by the responsible?
No.
And it's got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we may not feel it's actually going to be something that's going to happen, but we need to get this out to them as soon as possible, so that they know we're interested in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to cross committee and cross during your time, President Ray. There is a presentation from the port on that particular issue for August 27th.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
The port is going to do what?
A presentation at the joint for planned use management and port meeting committee.
Are you attending for us?
Yes.
On that? Okay, so let me share with you my next frustration with the Port of Los Angeles. We used to have a representative here every month talking about this, different issues to us, which made it direct information to us, not second or third hand. We have not had a representative from the port for close to a year. And I'll say it up front, and I'll say it publicly. The excuse that our representative used, I think, was just an excuse so that he did not have to work at night. I think it was nothing more than just an excuse, unfortunately. And I'm going to put it plain. We need to have direct access to the port, because the port plays such a huge role in our lives every single day. And we're not getting that. The closest we get, the closest we get is that they supposedly have a monthly meeting between presidents and the chamber. And guess what? They cancel it more than they have the meetings. So we don't get information from them. And the part is that we only get what they want to tell us. Yeah. And as you could see here, we have questions. And they are in a place where they would prefer not answering questions, because they don't want to get themselves backed into a corner and saying, this is what you said publicly, and we're going to hold you accountable to it. So anyway, I would really appreciate, Kane, if you would take it back to them that we need direct. access. And I'm more than willing to, from our port committee, if I could, if I can just say, if we have some type of correspondence to them asking them for that, and more than willing to be able to go to the port commission meeting and present it to them personally, you know, however it might be, if I can. Tom?
I just wanted to echo the frustration, right? I should have clarified that no report, not because I didn't go, but because I couldn't go. And what our president's not sharing, and the other frustration is they changed our meetings from evening, when both of us were easily able to attend last year, to when I taught. I'd have to make arrangements to manage my class, and you had a conflict. So, in scheduling this meeting for the presidents and one representative from the port committee, they were not very thoughtful in the stakeholders. It's kind of what the port staff what was convenient for them. It's nice we can go to their location, but for that I'd rather do a Zoom, because it's hard to get from Carson to the port and then get back to work. So definitely will communicate that, those that I'm talking about, Augie being the primary person to share the complaint to. But one other thing I wanted to share that Kane's probably cued into, that I'm really proud of, by developing a relationship with Senator Richardson and then the staffer Brian. He's been attending our planning land use port meetings regularly and reporting, and I don't know if we're getting a lot of progress with Caltrans, but I feel at least she's putting pressure on them. So I think that does work. Whoever, I've tried with Al Murasucci and not gotten anywhere, but there will be a new person coming. So as you look at that election, and you're talking to candidates, that should be something you could be sharing, so we could have somebody in the Assembly and in the Senate. And we also should be working with Gibson, and we have two potential Assembly member who could be advocating on these issues, port related and Caltrans related. So thanks for the time.
Thank you, Tom. Did I see any other hands that I might be missing? Anyone? Oh, Chris, I'm sorry.
I was just curious what the genesis of the idea of raising the bridge, where that came from.
Lee Williams.
No. Because the ships are getting taller?
No, not the motivation, but who came up with the idea of raising the bridge?
Gene Soroka.
Really?
Yeah, it was. That's what Augie said. He said Gene Soroka had an idea.
Oh, because they have port. I know the city has an engineering department, which probably would have or should have told them, like, you'd have to rebuild the entire region, like the approach to the bridge, the roadways. Like, you can't just raise a bridge. Otherwise, we would have raised the bridge.
And here's something else. I got a call from one of their, and I'll get you next, Gwen. I had a call, or a text, I should say, from one of the port commissioners asking me if our neighborhood council said anything or is supporting the notion of raising the bridge. And I'll be quite honest with you. I think I felt that the request should be coming from the port, and the report should be coming to. I'm glad they go to the joint meetings, but I think they should be making their rounds, because I understand they're not going to the other neighborhood councils and to talk to them about some of this stuff. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but the feedback I'm getting is that they're not, and I would like to hear a request coming directly from the port, not from a commissioner.
Yeah, and I don't want to give the impression it was the port at our last meeting. It was Axel from Tim McCosker's office, and what Axel had been told from someone, I'm not sure if it was Gene, is that it was feasible to raise it 211 feet for the largest ships with a minor modification of the stanchions, I think they're called. That there's an analysis where it could be done for definitely you didn't have to replace the whole bridge. And so it seemed like our council member McCosker had information that this could be feasible and wanted to verify that it's something that could be done for a lower cost. And I think secretly, well, I'm not going to say, I was hoping this might be an ability to then delay it till after the Olympics, because I share the concern. There's no way they're going to finish this thing in time for us to get to Long Beach and see events here. And the general sentiment from people like Elise, who had been briefed before I was it, why not do it right? Why in 5 years look at the port, then going to the state advocating to increase it, because we can no longer be economically viable with the new ships coming out of China.
Thank you. Gwen.
Well, it is unfortunate that we are working on conjecture and rumor and everything else. if they do want our support, I support it economically. I think it makes sense. And what I'm guessing at the moment is that the Port of Los Angeles itself might be ponying up some funds, or there might be some economic thing. Maybe there is a federal component to it that might actually come to California for some reason. But we are running on conjecture, and I applaud you for saying we need to have a formalized letter. I thoroughly agree that we need to have a letter from this body to Caltrans, to the port, for those different aspects of this. And that, I think that we can do it in reasonable language so that they know that we are serious people. And if they are coming to Northwest and not to the other ones, perhaps it's because we are not, we are trying to work in a serious way. I don't want to say that, but maybe they have more, they consider our opinion.
We had a motion, we have a motion in place that says that we would certainly support it.
Yes.
It would be nice to be able to know that it's an idea that's actually supportable. I mean, I'm no architect, I'm no engineer, I'm nothing like that.
Well,
but I sure would like to hear if it's something that can actually happen.
Well,
and it won't, be at the expense of some thing, whether it be community at the expense of higher taxes, in and around the port community that's going to be being leveraged to pay the freight on higher bridge and things like that. You never know until you know. And that's the thing that usually happens.
Well, we do have a lot of opportunity.
Chris.
Well, it's odd because while we were speaking and over the last minute and a half, the adjectives exceptional and excessive in terms of the cost of raising a bridge came up almost literally immediately. And so it seems like the most responsible thing to do would be to have a structural and or civil engineer explain that very briefly so that people don't have to go around in circles to take the longest possible route to get the shortest possible answer, which is it costs so much that it's essentially a waste of money unless you're going to replace the entire bridge, which the people in Long Beach could tell you how much time and energy it takes to raise that money and then execute. Like they just did it across the channel or across the bay. Why not go ask them how much it costs to replace the bridge and then go, well, do we have X amount of money? And someone would say, no, we don't, which I believe in this room they told us when they discussed redecking. And it's sort of like we shouldn't be going around the mulberry bush when the information is there. I mean, it is. I understand why they would want it in terms of tall ships and all that stuff. But it also seems like they're the ones who have all the resources to answer that very quickly. And we shouldn't have to exactly. There shouldn't be an issue of speculation because it is really a very technical and financial certainty. Anyway.
John, that last time when I talked to them, they were saying how the ships go under, that they drudge the ground underneath, so the fins of the boat has clearance. So this weekend I saw a thing from Lee Williams. He's asking everybody in the community, what do they think about raising the bridge to make these ships go? But back in June, when Nathan Bass, everybody should know who that, he's the guy that's, in conjunction and talking to everybody. So when Bass was there at the Assistance League and we were talking, this thing is, they're looking at either shutting down in December or the beginning of January of 26. But they're looking at the fall of 27, towards the end of 27, but it might fall in the first couple of months of 2028. But they're not sure because they can't, the concrete slabs that they got, there's 7, 8 companies that are going to make these things. And it takes 30 to 40 to 50 days to cure for one slab. So if they don't start now, you're talking 2 to 3 months.
That's for the redecking.
One slab.
That's for the redecking.
Yeah, the redecking. I mean, it's 16, 18 months. Yeah, it doesn't,
Right. Can I ask that the side conversations kind of be taken either outside, or can we just get everyone back at the table?
No. And also, where is this item on the agenda?
No, it's under the executive committee. That's where we're talking
Yeah,
about.
this is a report. So this is an item we're discussing that is not on the agenda.
I mean, it's still up for discussion. Yes, sir. Yes, it is. I mean, this is how we share information, Vic.
So,
I mean, you know, we
just
try to do what we can to share the information.
Your NEA. Thank you for calling us back into order. I was actually asking questions about some of the things I heard tonight in regards to the raising of the bridge, and/or your motion, and/or the report tonight in regards to the motion or the bridge. I think my question I have for you all, or you, Mr. President, is have you all had conversations outside of Caltrans, outside of the port, in terms of, I believe, the Harbor Commission and other things? I think that was something I was sharing during my update, is in regards to advocacy. There's more layers to it than just going directly to the source. And so that's my question I wanted to ask.
What we're trying to do here is that they have come to us, and there is an agenda item under we had taken it up when we're talking about the Vincent Thomas Bridge, but these are the things that that have come across my desk as president, and that's the report out that I'm doing. I'm not asking for decisions to be made. I'm just sharing the information, and that's all we're doing now. There's still a whole long process that we need to go through to be able to get what we need to make a decision as to where we're going with this. What we have done is the Vincent Thomas Bridge letter, and we just got to get it to them, and that's the only thing else.
To your point or your question,
If it's been out today, I have not seen it.
There have been many forums where we have been asked by Caltrans, we need your feedback. And groups of us have gone and given this feedback very specifically. And we were told many things. I mean, simply one of the most mind-blowing, I'm going to be nice, mind-blowing chronic problems. For example, at any time that there is a Caltrans repair or patching of the bridge, there might be a sign, one sign on one direction that goes, that you bump into just before you complete the turnoff onto the bridge. You're on that pass. And it will say, bridge closure will happen during these months. That sign will stay there if it says December 31st is the last day of the closure. It will stay there January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and without ever being removed or changed. We have asked for communications because this affects the entire harbor area, and where we expand it to trucking that goes up the 605, the 701, and that kind of thing. And it has all been on deaf ears. Everything that you heard here today has been said. When asked very directly, how can we do our job better? There was one particular question and answer session that went through each and every district, and some of us went to several. But there was a very important one, and many people, including the trucking industry, people from the trucking industry, people from the unions, were talking about their specific concerns. And it seems to not have succeeded.
So if I could just add one more thing before I go back to the audience, so my question, and thank you for letting me know where you all are in the process. So my question, so for clarity, I went back, it's a state issue. It's Caltrans, that's a state. And so the reason why I asked the question the way I did, because again, as a city entity in which you all are, it is your duty to reach out to those city other agencies or get that support and have those conversations with those city partners, right? I'm not going to say, well, I'm not going to use the word I want to use, but so it's for me as your advocate and your support, it goes beyond just talking to the Port of LA. It's other agencies that cross somehow, some way, that partner so that you can advocate to them to get those signs removed. The first layer of that will always be your council member, right? So then you have to question, hey, council member, we've been talking, we would like to speak with Caltrans. Can you support us in that conversation? Because when it comes to state advocacy, maybe even federal advocacy, you're supposed to lean on the council office in order to do so. You can't do that as a neighborhood council, but you most certainly, that's funny, can reach out and advocate to them. And so when you don't get a budge there, how are you having a conversation? How can we switch up the conversation to try to get what we need or get some pieces that we want to get done? So that's why I asked, because again, you're going to continue to hear me say this throughout our relationship, is that it may not just be going directly to the source. It may start at that commission level for the city. You have to start having that conversation and building those relationships. So then when you do get the opportunity to converse with Caltrans, or you have the opportunity to get those folks that are supposed to on your behalf, they can. And so that's why I asked the question. There's more layers to it. The only way we can find out those layers is if you try to exhaust those avenues. And if you haven't done that, that's why, again, I asked the question, right? Because there's more people than just the port, but maybe the port or whoever may have the final say. But did we talk to everybody? And I think you should take that when it comes to these big projects and these moments. Did we have a conversation with everybody we need to as a city entity, with the city partners that are involved?
Ray, you were part of the Harbor Advisory Committee that we campaigned to have because our voice was not part of it. If you would like to give him a run through of the different advisory committees during the Vincent Thomas thing and how the local community was given a voice with the Harbor Advisory Committee, of which you are a member, and how that has proceeded. And all the entities that are kind of cross-pollinating. You know, there's the city entities that have their own advisory committee and that kind of thing. The
advisory committee was asked to Caltrans to establish one so that they can be better at reporting back to the community, because all they were doing is actually reporting to each other as public entities, different departments, the city, state, and all the different responsible agencies in there, including law enforcement, public safety, and stuff. And I asked them they need to have a community aspect to that. And they heard and they established, but it's still something that seems to be, they're only going to tell you what they want you to know. And so you got to ask the question. And so sometimes I have been there to ask the hard questions of Caltrans, about what it is that they're doing and how can they do it better. And I'm trying to continue to, listen to what they're saying and asking, okay, so how does that affect community? And that's basically how I approach it. So anyway, I know we spent a whole bunch of time on this. I'm really appreciative of the feedback that I'm getting and the support, but it's at a there's a cost to it, and the cost is time, and we want to get out of here at a reasonable time. So I apologize for that.
Yeah, we have a time check because it's 8:23.
So with that, I want to get down to one last item on the executive report. We're going to have a retreat. If there's something specific you want to talk about at that retreat, please get in touch with me so we can put it, we can consider it for the retreat itself. And I'll just leave it at that because we have one additional meeting before our retreat, which is on 13th of September. Bylaws and elections, we still have a vacancy in the April seat, and we are going to need to look at bylaws revisions coming up. So I'll leave it at that. Budget and Finance Committee?
Budget advocate report. The only thing is we're starting to form our committees for our departments to start getting ahead of going into the meetings and start on the white paper all over again. The thing that I would like to do too is extend to stakeholders. Once I know the date and we get it put together, I'm in charge of an ad hoc committee that is to do with the charter for the budget for the city. And so anybody that's interested in that about the charter, you're welcome to attend those committees. You won't be able to vote on anything that we do, but you can come in and observe and listen and speak your mind to and put feedback in. But I'll let you know as soon as I know the dates that we're going to start meeting if you're interested. Budget and Finance, special Budget and Finance meeting, and also the regular Budget and Finance meeting. We had that, and then afterwards we had the special Budget and Finance meeting with outreach. And basically, as you see in the minutes, what we decided was what we're going to do at this time is hold off doing anything and deciding anything as far as outreach or not doing a newsletter, or anything like that, and bringing it to the board until we have that letter of confirmation for rollover money. Because things are going to look a lot different if the city pulls a fast one, and all of a sudden we don't get rollover money. And if we do get rollover money, then it looks different. But they've been doing some weird stuff with the city budget right now. So I don't trust them, to be honest with you. And so I want to see us get that confirmation letter for rollover money from them that we usually get in September. And then once we get that, what the majority of everybody wants to do, and this will be something up to Ray if he's in agreement with it, is to hold a special board meeting on this particular subject, talking about it, because what will be the difference to saving money that we can do more things this year, like the newsletter, is the possibility of going to 6 Zoom meetings a year and 6 in-person meetings, dividing it up to save some money. We could get creative on all of these things that we could do, but it should be a whole board discussing it and everybody putting their feedback in instead of just a few individuals. And so that's where we're at. So we'll wait and see and get the letter and then go from there.
That's it?
Public safety, if you want me to go into that real quick.
Any questions in and around that? Any no comment? Okay.
I'll just quickly comment. I think that's a good idea to go forward. And on the budget advocate, I put on to be on the ad hoc committee for the Olympics. So I don't know, I'm not going to chair like you're going to chair, but, to the extent people want a voice in that too, I'd be, grateful to hear from you. Assuming I get appointed to that, we should get the appointments pretty soon.
The public safety report, we had the Night Out Against Crime. It really, like has been said, it was a great turnout. What we have here, though, is over on the table some of the flash drives that we gave out that night. They're welcome to anybody that's here. Each board member can take one and have it for your emergency prep. Also, I really need board members, especially those that live by Taper Elementary and 7th Street School, because they're going to be opening on Thursday, to take a couple of these signs and put them up by where they'll be seen for people to slow down in our Northwest neighborhoods. Got a lot of feedback at the Night Out Against Crime about these. Everybody's asking me, oh, our neighborhood council wants to do it. Our neighborhood council would like to do this. You're going to get some emails, Chris, from Gustav, to to see if you can design theirs too for Harbor Gateway. So, so anyway, they basically want the same thing with their logo on it. So I find that, this is something to set a precedence. We're setting an example out there that other neighborhood councils and areas think it's a great idea. And they want to do the same thing. So I'm hoping to see a lot of these signs all over Harbor area, popping up.
Well, I live over in Holy Trinity area, so I'll try to get some of my neighbors to put the signs up.
What?
The Holy Trinity School, I'll try to get them around the school.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Anything else? That's it?
Yep, that's it.
Any other comments? Public safety? Anyone? No? Okay. Moving on. Youth and outreach.
Currently, we are, most recently we were part of the special meeting with Budget and Finance about potential expenditures and budget ceiling for the upcoming year. We are exploring the concept of maintaining a print presence by employing San Pedro Today, buying a page or two in San Pedro Today as opposed to publishing a full advocate, and then directing people, those readers, to back to the website where we'll have more multimedia stuff. So a little bit less of the loading up of the kind of fun facts and sort of putting the meatiest, most timely stuff in San Pedro Today, directing people back to the website, and hopefully doing that for maybe a third of what the advocate would cost, which would make money available for other things. And then I'd like to again remind people about the Congress of Neighborhoods. I'll be working there as a contractor, but Youth and Outreach is beginning the pre-production process of a series of documentary shorts about the neighborhood council system, about our neighborhood council in particular. And so we will probably be reaching out to, certainly to attendees of the Congress of Neighborhoods, but board members and officers of our board, as well as other community members in the weeks and months to come.
That's it?
Yeah.
Questions, comments? Anyone? All right. Moving on. Community issues. John?
We canceled.
Okay. Plan and land use. Kane?
Yeah, I can give an update. It's good to see Thomas Norman here as well. And I have to make a correction that letter regarding the Vincent Thomas Bridge was sent out to the 4 individuals on Saturday. So if I could stand corrected as I answered your question earlier. As far as an update, similarly, there was the Clearwater tunnel collapse that happened on July 9th. That has been circulating, of course, of concerns of safety throughout the committee. And as the joint committee was looking to have a representative show up at the one of the meetings amongst the San Pedro area, Harbor area, etc., and Wilmington, there was a town hall that was called this past Saturday. Where the councilman Tim McOsker, as well as County Supervisor Jehan, as well as the LA Sanitation, they fielded questions more in depth about the bridge collapse. At this particular time, the progress has been halted since the incident, and so just very high level, but they did field a lot of questions in their attempts to answer questions to the community. And I've already commented on or updated on the Vincent Thomas Bridge, where similar concerns around safety for the tunnel. It seems to be similarly for the Vincent Thomas Bridge in communication. And that's all I have as an update. As that we are going to be canceling our meeting this month as well.
Okay. Anything on the port? Anything else on the port, Thomas?
Nothing new with the port. I as I was taking care of arrangements for my mother's funeral, I only attended virtually that meeting, and haven't been as in touch with the port as normal. It might be interesting for this group to know. Also discuss that meeting. We're going to have a Jedi Zone presentation that's rescheduled for August. We're supposed to have that, but some people might be interested in that. And I don't know if you've heard of the Metro micro transit option, and maybe Kane knows more about that. $2 rides within 8 designated zones using smaller 9-passenger vehicles. So, and the joint meeting will still go on in August. We just decided not to do the smaller meeting because we can often get a lot of business done at the joint meeting with the 3 San Pedro neighborhood councils. And then another thing to put on your radar is we've been working on a community impact statement, which we'll be bringing back in a future month about AB 2097. I think many of us are very worried about not having to have any parking with the new developments. And I see there's 2 new projects we're going to be asked to learn about at our next meeting. So I know that's a concern that if you can build these things and then we all have to fight for the street parking. That's not good. So we will maybe coming back to you, with that issue to get your support, thinking that that's probably a bad state idea. Maybe good for other cities, but not good for San Pedro.
Okay. Any questions, comments, or anything? Just so that perhaps maybe we can continue or participate a little bit deeper. The closure of Phillips 66, especially during up and down the Gaffey Street corridor, is going to be a possibility of some land use issues in and around there, and Rancho LPG also, that big piece of property there that's finally going to shut down. But what Phillips 66 is going to do, I got the impression they bought it. But I don't know. It doesn't look like they have anything that they're going to really do anything on it yet. Yeah. So we can opportunities there.
I heard they purchased it too.
That part's news to me. I mean, is this group aware from July of the reluctance to take any of the recommendations on housing? Was that discussed in July? What wasn't here at that meeting, but so I know that's an issue too, where we feel like some things are heard and some things aren't heard. So I know this group, we try to advocate very clearly with what we've heard, in terms of really trying to serve the community.
Great, thank you. Last call for comments, questions.
With the Rancho LPG, I heard that they did buy it, but they're going to use it for, I believe, either going to be parking or another warehouse there.
Yeah,
Heather
said parking and green space.
Yeah, for where that Rancho plot is.
Environment Sustainability Committee, Gwen?
So, but my mother passed away not too long ago as well. I've been still working with that and some other obligations. I do feel very excited and energized about our opportunities to start action on street trees. There are some other councils that are gathering funds and grants and gathering other entities within the city in order to do a lot of plantings, curb cutouts, and that kind of thing. I also think that we have a great opportunity with the Jedi development to really move on the landscaping and actually work with some of the other council district, the other neighborhood councils regarding the vision of the greening plan. So I don't know if you guys know, but with all of the plans of the better, the great streets and everything like that, there also was a greening plan for all of San Pedro. It was never ratified, which means that even though the entire community said exactly how we want the plantings and what to do, and when a development goes in, what needs to be done on the street, it was never ratified, which means that a lot of the developments do whatever they want to do when it comes to planting a tree. Maybe none, maybe a little teeny bottle brush, which dies. And they can cut down anything they want. So we have some opportunities to revision it because it wasn't ratified. There are a lot of new data and a lot of new information regarding the types of street trees that California should have. Some of the underplantings, now it's talking about underplantings. So I'm hoping, yes, before the end of the year, I would like to have an Environment and Sustainability Committee meeting, and I hope that somebody on Planning and Land Use might visit or have or participate in that, because they go hand in hand. They really do. And I hope that we start doing events and have some gatherings and encourage others to do things like the Friends of Peck Park, that thing that's coming up in November. We should be involved in that. So great stuff.
Any questions, comments? No? See no hands? Oh,
So,
Melanie?
are we putting sustainability and port back together again instead of having them separate?
No, port is now firmly in planning and land use.
Huh?
The port is firmly in planning and land use.
Right.
It was too complicated.
So you aren't going to have a meeting separate from them because they aren't together again, because you suggested going to the port meeting or the planning and land use meeting.
I recommended that somebody who is planning and land use possibly participate in the Environment and Sustainability Committee.
I was like, wait, are we putting them together again?
No,
I'm confused.
No, more coordination. We are all connected in some way or one form or another, and that cross-pollination that cross-communication is really important. I will be participating in Planning and Land Use Committee meetings, partly because of the advisory committee that I'm on regarding our urban forest and street trees. So.
Okay, thank you.
And the ones on property that are now being turned into ADUs and being chopped down.
Christensen Science Center?
No news.
Vic? I'm sorry, I missed that.
No news.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close out 8, move on to 9, liaison reports. We have Animal Shelter, DWP, Public Works, LA Film Liaison, Sustainability Alliance Liaison, Data. Any one of those?
Yes, Animal Shelter.
Yes, all right. Animal Shelter.
For Animal Shelter, the overall LA City Animal Shelter capacity went up 5% from 130% last month to 135% this month. The LA Harbor Shelter, we had a very slight change, so that's good. Cats, 11% change for this year. Dogs, 4%, so not too much of an increase. I know euthanasia is always something that we've been hearing a lot about. It's actually down in cats by 21%. And up in dogs by 1%. So it's not as significant as we're hearing, but it is still an issue. Also, to let you know, this month is Clear the Shelter Month. So if people go to www.laanimalservices.com and click on upcoming events, there are a ton of different events throughout the month. Petco Love is sponsoring most of them, offering $20 adoption fees for dogs, excluding the $20 license fee. And then kittens, the adoption fees are waived. So if you want to go get a kitty or a doggy, now's a good time to get one, and it's low cost. I also wanted to make sure everybody is aware that typhus has been reported as an uptick in Long Beach. It is an increase. It's a flea-borne disease, so they are warning everybody to make sure that their pets have flea control or preventative on them. It's spread through rats and possums, but also around cluttered homes, trash bins, and crawl spaces. So for all of our animal shelters and animals going in, to make sure we watch out for that, and also in the homelessness communities, there has a tendency when we see a typhus outbreak, there happens to be in that scenario as well. And then I have some other data regarding outbreaks with some other animal-related diseases, but I can talk about those another time.
Okay,
Thank you.
We can post them also on
Yeah.
the website.
I had a question.
If I can, who has a question?
I do.
Okay, Gwen,
Real
real
quick.
quick. Can we also emphasize fostering animals? I mean, just to get them out of there.
Yes, actually, on the LA Animal Services website, there is a whole fostering section. You do have to go through the training, and I believe we have the training is quarterly or semester. But I will reach out and see if we could maybe do some sort of community event where we can bring in people and do a mass training or something like that for fostering.
That'd be great.
My question.
Okay. All right.
My question.
Questions?
Yeah.
Gwen?
So I was keeping track of the spay and neuter program. There's regarding the budget. I heard some pretty grim news regarding the ability to give vouchers out for spay and neuter. There's going to be a transition and a change to that. But what it ultimately meant was, according to the criticism, is that there will be more puppies, more kittens that will end up being born because of these changes, and so therefore the cuts are going to be increased by costs of euthanasia and the rest of it, of overpopulation. So maybe I'm just giving you a heads up, so you might poke around and find out more about that, because we could speak on that. And we also have the opportunity to, create a letter and give it to the commission. So.
Yes, and I actually bring that up to the veterinarians that I call on, and they do, especially in this area, work with the shelter, and they will offer spay and neuter services as well. So our community, within the veterinarians, just in our community, are realizing that there's an issue. So it might not address all of LA City, but and then there's Camp LA as well. So,
which I hope that our neighborhood council can promote a little bit more. There is actually, this is the really great thing, is that Teresa Sardisco, and there is a fund, there is a grant for the zip codes right here in San Pedro, where people of a certain economic level can apply for all sorts of aid in veterinary care for their pets, which I think is fantastic. So try to get the word out to those who really need it, who are down to subsistence level, because things like typhus and things like that, this is a public safety issue. So we have a great opportunity here in San Pedro to promote that.
Any other comments, questions, anything? Vic, you look like you're ready. No? All right. Okay to close out this item? You get something different? Okay, let's go ahead and close out at 9. We're down to 10.
Just for the record, Kelly Miller left at 8:45 p.m.
Right. Any announcements? Future agenda items? Anyone? I don't mean to embarrass you, but is there any announcements you may want to say, Angela? Something that you have working very hard to?
Yes, I passed the examination for professional practice in psychology, which means I'm almost fully licensed.
Very good. Congratulations. Okay, Melanie?
Two things. This is a thank you card from LAPD that everybody, if you want to look at it, you can look at it. The other thing is, just to let everybody know, next board meeting, as long as Aetna approves my surgery, I will not be here at the next board meeting because I'm having spine surgery. So, John, you're clapping. I'm going to smack you. And praying. So, John, Kane's getting his training, and that's why we have backup. Kane's getting his training as second alternate signer. And so John's going to fill in, and Kane's going to sign the things, and then Vic's going to get all the food stuff with the second card holder. So we've got it all laid out, and hopefully I'll feel well enough to come to the retreat on the 13th in a wheelchair probably, but we'll go by there, and hopefully I can go to Congress. I got to figure out if it's going to be ADA possible for me to be in a wheelchair at Congress or not.
Yeah,
so
people attend in wheelchairs all the time.
You have our informants right here. You have your informants right here. Yeah.
Huh?
And they're saying yes.
Yes.
Okay, any other comments? No. Oh, Kane.
Thank you for your leadership at the police night out the other day. National night out.
Well, look, that was you all, honestly, and LAPD. I just filled in wherever it was, and you all did the same. So everything goes out to this neighborhood council as a great partnership. But I appreciate the comments, King. Thank you. Anything else? Going on to number 11, general public comments. Public comments on non-agenda items. One last call. None? None? Okay. That's it. No more. Next meeting, September 8th, 6 o'clock. Thank you so much. Take care.
Meeting is adjourned at 8:50 p.m.
John, do you want to do the concrete falling off the building? Look into it. Public comment thing.